Hello and welcome to the Quiver channel. I am Jason, your host. Let's talk about my mobility scooter and how the plans are going for going out further from the house. As I've said before, and it's important to mention, it's my mobile safe space, but the further I get away from home, the more twitchy I get, the more antsy I get, the more it's harder. Going around the town on the mobility scooter is brilliant. Going into Tesco, going to the local park, going to the local cemetery, wandering around all the nice, wonderful areas that I already know. That is easy. It's actually very easy. Because I know the places, because it's not new places, because the place is mapped out in my brain and everything. But the further I go out, see, my mobility scooter, my Quingo, has a range. It's got a 55-mile range when the batteries with you were brand new. It's probably got about a 40. I class it as a 40, which means I can go up to 20 miles out and 20 miles back. I also have the full breakdown cover, so if it does break down, I can stay with it and stay sat on it and basically call a number and they'll come and pick me up and take me home, or they'll recharge my battery, things like that. So it's all covered for that, which is a good thing. Now, I just wanted to point something out. Let me pause this before I point it out. When I took ownership of the Quingo second hand, it had 62 miles on the clock. I have travelled 630 odd miles in under a year. For someone who never left his house, for someone who never ventured outside for almost 5 years, it's amazing. It's amazing. And my safe space is wonderful, but I want to evolve it a bit. I evolved it first by putting the canopy on so that it was an all-weather. So, well, you know the British weather. It took away the stress of me wondering, oh my God, is it going to rain? Is it going to rain? Is it going to rain? The mobility scooter I had before, one of the most freak out things that happened was I went out on the scooter that I had before, there's a Kimco, and I was out in the park and it suddenly started a massive downpour, and I didn't know that that particular scooter was waterproof, so I hid underneath a tree. I hid underneath a tree for like an hour, and it was so freaked me out because I had bought a poncho, but I couldn't get the poncho to fit on me, and it was just a mess. It was just a mess because I couldn't stand up to put the poncho on to move away from my scooter, because my scooter was a safe space, and if I moved away I could become catatonic, so that caused an issue. So having the built-on canopy, even though it makes the Quingo bigger and harder to get outside the garden it's an amazing bonus, because it means I don't have to worry. I don't have to look at the clouds. I can go out in British weather, and British weather can change. British weather it can rain like 10 minutes after we start something, and it's like, how can I put it? Yeah, it can be fun. You can be, oh, it's nice and sunny. It looks really nice and sunny. I'll just go outside. It's lovely, and then 10 minutes freaking later, it starts raining. Things like that happen. This is the normal thing. So having the canopy was the best upgrade. And then the second part of that upgrade was how can I put it? The second part of the upgrade was the rear-facing camera. This helped me gain confidence in using the vehicle on the road, because it is a class 3 vehicle registered with the DVLA. It can go anything up to a dual carriageway. I would never take it on a dual carriageway. I'm not crazy. Yeah, I would not go on a dual carriage, but I can go on all my side roads and roads that I know and that, and I'm very good on the road and keeping myself safe and that, but I know I am the most squishy piece of material on the road, so I have to be very self-aware in that. The wonderful thing about a Quingo and it being a class 3 means I can go from the road to the pavement to inside a shop. I have the ultimate of freedom for someone like me who has to stay on it. A car would not be better for me. I can't drive, but even if I could drive and have an electric car and all that, I could not use one, and I wouldn't be able to leave the car, because even if the car was a safe space, I'm away from the car. So having the rear-facing camera was a bloody brilliant thing. Getting the DJI, investing in the DJIs, so I had a proper camera that I could do vlogs while I'm out there. Also, another part of my coping strategy, just like this. This is when I connect to you all, when I do these vlogs, it helps so freaking much. And so those have been in the evolutions of the setup to make it possible. I still need to tweak the mic that comes with the DVI to make it so it gets rid of outside sound more, because it still picks up a lot of sound and it can be overwhelming. So at that point, I want to go further than I've gone before. I've gone all the way out to, I've gone 25 miles. I've gone all the way out to Trentham and then around Trentham Lake and all that area there and then all the way back and that. I mean, to put this in perspective, if as the crow flies from here to Trentham Gardens, it's only about 4, 5, 6 miles. But when you're on a mobility scooter and you've got to go down certain ways and all that, it makes it so much further, but I love it. So how to make the Quingo more of a what if shit hits the fan? What if I'm stuck on it outside of the house for a day? What if I can't get back to home easily? And even though these are a worst case scenario that probably will never happen, having the ability to have everything there is a good thing. So the first part of that is this. This is a specialized little power brick. I've charged it up with the solar panels in the backyard. It's got a USB 2, a USB 3, and it's got a USB-C, and it's got a 3-pin top. This thing here carries 26,700 milliamps, something like that. And this is going to sit inside my backpack or inside the other pack that I have on the Quingo. It will be pretty much a permanent position there. See, I can charge this from the Quingo batteries. And it doesn't take much of a drain to charge this. And this can power the two other items that it can power 3 items actually. It can power my phone. It can power my GTAC desktop, basically, that can do most of my coping strategies. So it can power that fully. Because this doesn't power by a USB-C, it powers by a barrel jack to a little power supply. And that is what it will plug into that power socket there. So I can charge this with that. And the fourth part, or the primary third part of it, just arrived today. And it's this. This is a D-Link DWR 2101 5G. It's a router. I've got one of my SIM cards in here, one of the ones that has like 100 gigabytes of bandwidth per month. And this will be sitting wherever I'm going to put in a little clasp somewhere on my Quingo when I go out. And this will provide a mobile hotspot for myself, a secure mobile hotspot. It even has a proper RJ45 network connector, and this thing will be able to create a wonderful base station, router, internet for everything else to go through. The reason I don't use the phone doesn't have that good a connection, and even though this has a 4G SIM card slot, the signal strength on this isn't brilliant in the UK. So this has got massively more. For example, most phones in my house, because this house is old, it's from 1920s, it's built in ways that basically deaden most Wi-Fi signals. For example, this house has to have 2 business grade Ubiquiti access point long range wireless to complete coverage wireless for the entire house. There is so many dead zones. Normal customer ones, I needed commercial powered stuff to be able to cover this. So this, whereas my phone only gets half a bar inside this room, just enough for text messages and the odd phone call, spotty at best. But this gets 3 bars. This has got a really good built-in antenna for that. So that's going to be the cornerstone of my mobile safe space. I will leave the house to go on my journeys of maybe 10, 15, 20 miles, and I will have a reusable power supply, because remember, my Quingo actually has regenerative braking, so some of the power from every time I stop goes back into the batteries. So we've got this and everything that will be placed inside the system to basically provide a long term. I'm tempted. I am really fucking tempted to put solar panels on the roof of my Quingo. I've got a set of solar panels somewhere in the house. I've got a 100-watt set of panels on somewhere in the house, and there's a chance it would fit on the roof of the Quingo. Because remember, the canopy is actually metal, steel metal. It isn't a thingy. So there's a chance that I could set up a solar panel on the roof and actually be recharging my stuff as I go. That's a bit of a funny idea, but might end up with even that. I mean, why does this matter to me so much? Because when I wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and my brain says, oh, what happens if you're outside and the world goes to hell and you can't get home and such and such and such and such and such and such, I need to cover all those problems. I have a full medical kit for St. John's first aid kit with everything in it on the back of my seat. I have a full toolkit for the actual system, entire Quingo. I have a way to refill the tyres, and the tyres themselves have the liquid in that means that they will seal themselves if there is a puncture. I am as self-sufficient on that Quingo as it's possible to be, because I know that I can't leave it. That to leave it would be very hard, that it would be an extremely traumatic event to have to leave my vehicle. And so, with all this stuff arrived, I'll be putting it together so that as soon as the weather... There's one more item, and that's a really, really nice... I've invested in a really nice pair of gloves. Because you know what the weather's like and that, and it's going to get colder before it gets warmer. And this pair of really nice gloves it's recommended up to -20 or something like that, crazy. So that'll be very useful, because I did have the option to buy the upgrade of the, what is it? The hidden, not the heated handlebars, but if you have the heated handlebars, they hook into the USB ports on the thingy, and you no longer have the USB ports. Now, the USB ports can be wonderful for charging this and for charging this kind of thing, or even this when I'm out. And so I lose that, and it can be quite a drain. And I'd prefer to have a really good pair of gloves and deal with it that way. So yeah. We are just having a look at it all. I've dug out my old walking boots, because if it's at all warm, I will wear my Crocs. I love my Crocs. They're ventilated, they're comfortable. My feet have never been in as good shape as they are while walking around in Crocs. But they've got holes in them for ventilation and that doesn't really help when you're sitting on a Quingo and the wind's whistling round your ankles and that, due to the British weather. So yeah, having all these options and setting it all up is a really good idea. So I hope you're all having a splendiferous day. I will talk to you all later, so bye bye.